And so in this video, I'll show you 3 ways to 10x your income. So the first way is through something called arbitrage. And so arbitrage is just a fancy word that means buying and selling between 2 different markets and capitalizing on the difference in price for the same asset. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can arbitrage. So this applies for both businesses and employees. Entire financial sector is almost built on arbitrage, which is, can I buy a stock for a certain price and then sell it later? And that's where you have options trading and all these other types of things that banks and financial institutions will make hundreds of billions of dollars a year on. So number one, on a personal level, you can buy cheap locally wherever you're at and then sell whatever you have, like your services even, to a more expensive market, which is why the number one money-making skill in 2024 is English. And so if you live in a foreign country and you live in Thailand, or you live in Malaysia, you live in Vietnam, whatever, you have something where it's very cheap to live, and then you can sell your services globally at the most expensive market rate, which would be probably Europe and the US, then you could in a real way have this big arbitrage between what you make and what you spend. And so for example, in Thailand, the median income is about $2,700 per year. And so if you can sell your services even at the US median income, which is closer to like $50,000 or $60,000, you're looking at more than a 10x increase between what you make and what you spend. And wealth, which a lot of people don't understand, wealth is a ratio. It's not a number. It's how much you spend relative to how much you make. So you can make $50,000 a month or $500,000 a month. If you spend more than that, you're going to feel poor. Now, if you make $5,000 a month and you spend $500, you're going to feel rich because you always have more than enough. And the key about wealth is having more than you need. And so you can either make more or need less. So let me show you this to you visually. So personally, right, you have a couple options. So one is your income stays the same, but you decrease your expenses by moving geographies. So you change where you live. The other way is that you can live somewhere that's normal. It depends on where you're starting, right? And then sell to a different geography overall. Now, again, there's an interesting story that I'll tell you. When I had my really nice mansion in Austin, this is years ago, I noticed that when people came to my house to bid services, I was like, I feel like this is way more expensive than a comparable service that I've paid for in the past. And then I started talking to my neighbors about it, and they were like, oh, that's just called the zip code tax. And I was like, what does that mean? They're like, you have a nice house.